Dumelo, I can tell you it's a completely different picture from where we're at. We spent much of the morning at Park Station, which of course houses a number of modes of transport from rail to buses and taxis. But in many instances, the people who come here need a meal at some stage, especially when you consider some of the long layovers that may involve, parts of their travel itinerary. And whilst there are more conventional kind of eateries out, we've shown you all of that, we've decided to step into a place that's a bit more of a cookout. And I'll be very honest, as a person who enjoys a good meal, I've struggled to keep my focus because as soon as you come in here, you're greeted by the scent of the chakalaka, the spices, the pap that's here. I'm going to step out a shot for you just to get you a sense of just the atmosphere. We're told for now, of course, it's not necessarily as busy as it typically is, but this is where a few people who form part of the more lower income bracket can come and enjoy a meal. And in fact, there are a number of spillover benefits for the entrepreneurs who are also here, many of whom, of course, are relying on this income essentially in order to make a living. The added benefit is for PRASA as well. The rentals that they get here is part of their income generation. But let's see what we can find in some of the stores that are here. As I mentioned, there are a few of them. So we're going to see how many of the entrepreneurs who are here are willing to speak to us, at the very least, to get us a sense of what it essentially takes to run their operation. I've seen the one we're approaching now is relatively busy, so let's see to what extent they'll be able to speak to us. Sanbonani mama ninjani?
Siyaphila ninjani?
Siyaphila. Hayi ukudla kwaze kwabukeka, kwaze kwamnandi. Umama uMamlusi sikhulumile before siya on air. Ngicela usichazele ukuthi umsebenzi nini niyenza la umsebenzi onjani. Typically speaking, how many people do you feed?
Molweni nonke ngumamlusi lona uMaxaba uShwabadu noNkosi ePark Station shop number 1 Xaba fast food. Umsebenzi esiwenzayo sipheka ukudla esikuthengisayo every day. Sinama regular customers, sine new customers, and then sinabasebenzi abantu abasincedisayo. We don't call them abasebenzi, we call them our members, our assistants, because ngaphandle kwabo asinokwazi ukwenza lo msebenzi, because baninzi kakhulu abantu abangena ePark Station bezofuna, abanye bazofuna ukudla, basematransportini, sifida abantu abanjalo.
And ukudla kunjani enikuthengisayo? Ngiyabona kukhona lana. I wonder if you can show us amasaladi lawa ekhona la ekhaya. This looks a bit like chakalaka. I see there's a bit of beetroot. Is this coleslaw? That's also here. All right. Take us through nje ukuthi, what type of food do you prepare?
Okay, we cook traditional food because we've got a mix. We've got beef stews, we've got chicken stew. Abanye ke bathi inkukhu yesiZulu, ukuthi amaZulu athi isiZulu, mna ndithi inkukhu yesiXhosa, and then sibiza umleqwa, sinepapa, sine rice, siba nomngqusho, traditional food nje, you may name it.
And I see as we're speaking to you, you have a customer, umuntu ofuna ukuthenga naye lana, which shows how busy it is. I wonder if you can take a chance. Sisi, are you willing to speak to us ukuthi what you're willing to buy here? Okay, maybe not. Caught off guard, to be fair, but I suppose that bears testament to how busy it gets in some instances. Mamlusi, thank you very much. Let's see who else we can catch throughout this particular area as people continue to try and essentially enjoy the food that, let's face it, is commonplace for many South Africans, right? I mean, as I mentioned earlier, there are the more conventional eateries that are here, but in many instances, there are also foods that people like to enjoy, especially as they relax and think of what home looks like. And these are all the stores that are here. I think there are about 27 or 28, and there's a huge diversity, as it were. But perhaps let's see if we can speak to somebody else who's also here, essentially getting a sense of what they have to offer. Sabona Sisi ninjani?
Njani?
Siyaphila. Sisi, I wonder ukuthi wena ungashela ukuthi nithengisa ini njoba nilana, mhlawumbe ushene nokuthi uba nigama.
Igama lami uSizakela kaMbambo. Sithengisa ukudla kwesintu like ipapa nomleqwa, beef stew, chicken stew, jeqe.
Thatha isikhathi singakanani ukuthi ukulungise ukudla kwakho?
Singathi nje mina ngifika la ngo-5 makushaya u-9 yonke into seyi-ready.
Oh wow. And I suppose ukuthi you try to keep the food fresh throughout the day. Isikhathi esibhizi asithi mhlambe nje phakathi kweviki esiphi?
During the week i-lunch yethu iqala ngo-11 until 4. Yeah, those are the busiest time. More especially makuzofika i-train, isitimela masifika lana hayi kuba busy.
And okuphi ukudla othola ukuthi abantu bayakuthanda the most, mhlambe i-favorite esheshe iphela?
Abantu kakhulukazi bathanda ipapa nenkukhu yesintu ne-beef stew. La lobu kudla esikufrayishile hayi, it's not that. Yebo bengathanda kancane i-steak.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the time. So there you have it. Again, no surprises when you think about some of the more popular meals that people typically have here at the Park Station when they come around here. I'm going to see if we can perhaps try and speak to the people who are having the food itself. And I started off by mentioning to you that it's incredibly difficult to keep my focus because it all smells so good. But anyway, come along with us and we can see if maybe we can spot some of the more eager observers of people who are here. But I did mention to you earlier, and maybe Stella, you can come before me as I tell you about this. Prasa, of course, mentioning that part of the spin-off for them is that the people here who are, in fact, renting some of these areas, they themselves are a form of revenue generation for an entity which, let's face it, could do with all the help they can get insofar as ensuring that they're able to run their business as well as they can. There's a group of gentlemen here who I'm going to try to speak to since they've been looking at us. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you doing? Good, thank you. I can see you are well within your meal. In fact, you've annihilated it, which is a good sign, I suppose. How good was it?
Dala yabona nje umnyaka lo into esihlukumeze kakhulu ngamapolisa. Amapolisa angana asephila ngathi sefuna ukudla kithi kakhulu. Noma silamaphepha azihlukumeza senjalo. Ngana asafuna sibuye lapha eSouth Africa ngazi bafuna sifike.
Ubuya kuphi baba?
Mina ngibuye eZimbabwe.
Okay.
But ngibuya ngosemthethweni but amapolisa angikhona azihlukumeza kunjalo.
Banhlukumeza ngani?
Bamba besihlupha besearcha bethi ama-passport ethu adinda amalanga amaningi abafuna abe lama-days.
Okay. Njengoba uthi ula ePark Station ubuyele ekhaya noma khana ungena la eSouth Africa?
Uthi njani?
Ngithi njengoba ula, are you coming into South Africa at the moment or are you on your way back home?
Ya ngisebenzela khona lapha vele. Ngisasela ngizabuyela ke mase kumele ngibuyele emalangeni semvakatsha lami ngeholide manje.
And we regular la for ukudla kwala?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it about the food here that makes you keeps you coming back?
Ukudla kugudu kakhulu vele yikho kusenza singasasuki khona eSouth Africa ukudla kwakhona.
Okay, what in particular is your favorite? I see bekune papa, some chakalaka as well.
Kumnandi kakhulu.
All right, we'll leave it there. Okay, so there you have it. I suppose part of what also has come out of that is a multiplicity of issues as I try to make sure I don't fall over the benches here. This is somebody who is not a South African national, and I suppose he took the opportunity to vent some of his frustrations as a start about how he feels that a lot of them are targeted when they come through in the country, generally speaking, not just at the Park Station. But he also, I suppose, towards the end there told us that he's amongst the people who regularly come here because the food is good, and I suppose that's always a good thing if you want to keep a business running. Make sure that your customers at the very least are more satisfied. We're watching this, of course, from a number of vantage points, and earlier on we got an opportunity to speak to the traffic department in Gauteng just to get a sense from them about how they're responding to this anticipated uptick in the travel, not only here at Park Station but certainly around the inner city. Take a listen.
We are expecting high traffic volumes on our major road leading into and outside our province. As you can see, it's fully packed here. Our responsibility is to ensure that all these people arrive alive to their various destinations, and that's why we are here in large numbers. Remember, for us, safety is very important. It doesn't matter, all categories of road user, whether you are a pedestrian, whether you are a motorist, whether you are a motorcyclist, we want to make sure that these people really arrive alive safely. So, and we want to appeal to our road users at large to say, utilize our public roads responsibly. So we have got major freeways here, the likes of your N1 to Polokwane, N3 to Durban, to mention just a few, N17 Springs. The problem that we are compounded with is the situation where you have pedestrians wanting to cross freeways, hitchhikers on our freeways, which is not acceptable at all. And some other problem that we are having is alcohol abuse by the pedestrians. They go to places of leisure. We do not want to see them going to places of leisure where they are enjoying their alcohol, then the next moment they want to cross the road where it is unsafe to do so. And that's why we have thrown large number of law enforcement officials, our traffic officers, our traffic wardens, all role players are really on the ground to ensure that we remove pedestrians from our road where they are not supposed to be. Well, we're having a number of enforcement operations, I must say. As I've mentioned, that alcohol abuse is just one of the major contributory factors to our road traffic crashes. So in the inner city, we are having enforcement operations such as anti-drunken driving. We even go, all criminal elements that you might be thinking about. People, this is the opportunity for criminals to actually do their own things, like selling of drugs, all these things, illegal liquor outlets. So any form of criminality, we've made sure that we have put our law enforcement personnel in strategic areas to ensure that we apprehend any person who might be seen doing wrong things.